everybody. Uh, I am recording these on a Saturday. It's one of my favorite things to do. Sit back out here away from everybody just to read to you. So we have 5 great books this week, and they're starting to make some real connections. You may have noticed that last week, that each of these read-alouds is in a pretty specific order because they're building on things that we've seen before, noticed before, read before. So it's really fun to start getting to this point where we can make connections. Our first book this week is Last Stop on Market Street by Matthew de la Peña, and pictures are by Christian Robinson. Now you might remember last week, School's First Day of School also had pictures by Christian Robinson, and you can kind of see how the drawings of the people are similar. So it's really neat when you get an illustrator that crosses across author. So when I take a look at this cover, get to see it's a whole bus. And so here near our schools we have buses, we have the train, the speed line, all of these things that help get us to different places. So here we go. CJ pushed through the church doors, skipped down the steps. The outside air smelled like freedom, but it also smelled like rain, which freckled CJ's shirt and dripped down his nose. So there are a couple clues here. If CJ is leaving church, it's probably on a weekend, more likely than not a Sunday. So we're kind of in the morning here, and he's excited that church is over and he gets to have his day. He ducked under his Nana's umbrella, saying, "How come we gotta go wait for the bus in all this wet?" "Trees get thirsty too," his Nana told him. "Don't you see that big one drinking through a straw?" CJ looked for a long time, but never saw a straw. So what CJ's Nana is saying is that a tree is drinking through a straw. It's through its leaves. That's how trees take in their water. It's not a literal straw, an actual straw. It's kind of a figurative straw. From the bus stop, he watched water pool on flower petals, watched rain patter against the windshield of a nearby car. His friend Colby climbed in, gave CJ a wave, and drove off with his dad. "Nana, how come we don't got a car?" "Boy, what do we need a car for? We got a bus that breathes fire. And old Mr. Dennis, who always has a trick for you." The bus creaked to a stop in front of them. It sighed and sagged, and the doors swung open. "What's that I see?" Mr. Dennis asked. He pulled a coin from behind CJ's ear, placed it in his palm. Nana laughed her deep laugh and pushed CJ along. They sat right up front. The man across the way was tuning a guitar. An old woman with curlers had butterflies in a jar. Nana gave everyone a great big smile and a good afternoon. She made sure CJ did the same. The bus lurched forward and stopped. Nana hummed as she knit. How come we always gotta go here after church, CJ said. Miguel and Colby never have to go nowhere. I feel sorry for those boys, she told him. They'll never get a chance to meet Bobo or the Sunglass Man. And I hear Trixie got herself a brand new hat. CJ stared out the window, feeling sorry for himself. He watched cars zip by on either side, watched a group of boys hop curbs on bikes. I like this word, lurched. The bus lurched forward and stopped. Lurched forward and stopped. It's kind of a slow moving word, lurched. It's great. Where do you think they might be going? A man climbed aboard with a spotted dog. CJ gave up his seat. How come that man can't see? Boy, what do you know about seeing? Nana told him. Some people watch the world with their ears. That's a fact. Their noses, too, the man said, sniffing at the air. That's a mighty fine perfume you're wearing today, ma'am. Nana squeezed the man's hand and laughed her deep laugh. So that man can't see with his eyes, but he uses other senses to experience the world. Two older boys got on next. CJ watched as they moved on by and stood him back. Sure, wish I had one of those, he said. Nana set down her knitting. What for? You've got the real-life thing sitting across from you. Why don't you ask the man if he'll play us a song? CJ didn't have to. The guitar was already plucking strings. The guitar player was already plucking strings and beginning to sing. To feel the magic of music, the blind man whispered. I like to close my eyes. Nana closed hers too. So did CJ and the spotted dog. This is my favorite page in the whole book. And in the darkness, the rhythm lifted CJ out of the bus, out of the busy city. He saw sunset colors swirling over crashing waves, saw a family of hawks slicing through the sky, saw the old woman's butterflies dancing free in the light of the moon. CJ's chest grew full, and he was lost in the sound, and the sound gave him the feeling of magic. So, did CJ actually get lifted out of the bus? No. He wasn't seeing the world with his eyes. He was feeling the rhythm of the music, using his ears, using his senses, using his imagination. It put him in a different mood. And we've talked about mood with a couple books over the past few weeks. Remember during the book Horrible Bear, when the girl's mood changed? After the kite was broke, she got mad, and then after the kite and her stuffy were fixed, and she felt happy again. Well, those were things that changed her mood, and music is a thing that can change our mood. The song ended and CJ opened his eyes. Everyone on the bus clapped, even the boys in the back. Nana glanced at the coin in CJ's palm. CJ dropped it in the man's hat. Last stop on Market Street, Mr. Dennis called. CJ looked around as he stepped off the bus. Crumbling sidewalks and broken down doors, graffiti-tagged windows and boarded-up stores. He reached for his Nana's hand. How come it's always so dirty over here? She smiled and pointed to the sky. Sometimes when you're surrounded by dirt, CJ, you're a better witness for what's beautiful. CJ saw the perfect rainbow arcing over their soup kitchen. He wondered how his Nana always found beautiful where he never even thought to look. He looked all around them again, at the bus rounding the corner out of sight, and the broken street lamps still lit up bright, and the stray cat shadows moving across the wall. See the rainbow? So maybe when we're surrounded by things that maybe aren't that nice, we can change our perspective, look somewhere else, and see something beautiful. I think CJ's Nana's pretty good at that. When he spotted their familiar faces in the window, he said, "I'm glad we came." They went to a soup kitchen. If you don't know what a soup kitchen is, that's a place where people who maybe don't have a lot go for some food. And it's a place where those who have go to volunteer and help feed people who have less. He thought his Nana might laugh her deep laugh, but she didn't. She patted him on the head and told him, "Me too, CJ. Now come on." CJ's really glad that he went to that soup kitchen because he got to see the beauty in the familiar faces that he sees there and in helping others. It's one of my favorite. They're all my favorite book. They're all my favorite. But I really like this book. It helps me get out of my little bubble, out of this reading nook, and takes me to another place. Thank you.